Would you like to buy a property for less than $1,400? Aloha everyone, I'm Rick with goodincomestreams.com and the author of Invest Like the Rich. And this video will be talking about how to buy cheap real estate, and to be exact, how I bought this property for $1,371.65. And no, that is not a down payment and that is not a deposit. That is $1,371.65 out the door. Now you must be wondering, where is this property and how did I get it so cheap? Well, this property is not in Beverly Hills, of course. It's not no mansion. As a matter of fact, this is a 900 square foot home with 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. And no, this property is not in a war zone where you have to wear 3 bulletproof vests just to cross the street. As a matter of fact, this property is in an area where there's so little crime that when you look it up, in the immediate area there was nothing. So how did I buy this property? Well, there's a few ways to buy properties. The first is the MLS. Now the MLS accounts for about 90% of all real estate transactions. Yes, you can buy properties otherwhere, in other places, but for the most part, most real estate transactions are purchased through the MLS. Now the MLS is not the best way to get real good deals, although you can get some. However, be expecting to pay anywhere from 90% to over 110% of the asking price. Yes, you heard me right, over 110%. It all depends on the market and the timing. So if that local market is really good and everybody wants to live in that place, guess what? You're gonna overpay. And if you're in a not so great area, then you might be able to get it at around 90-95% of their asking. But don't be expecting to be able to buy a property in the MLS for 50 cents on the dollar. Now even house flippers sell their flips on the MLS because they know that they can get the most bang for their buck. Now the second way you can purchase a property is through wholesalers. So now these wholesalers go around looking for properties that are not on the market. So the MLS is the market, and then there's the off-market properties. People that want to sell but don't want to use a real estate agent. These wholesalers will try and get those properties for around 50 to 60% of their after rehab value. And once they lock that contract in, they start looking for buyers. Most of the time they have a list of investors that want to purchase from them. Most flippers will try and buy their property around 70%. So the wholesalers will make that spread. Now, most wholesalers will get $5,000 to $10,000 as an assignment fee for assigning the contract. However, the third way you can purchase a property is through rent-to-own or lease purchase. This is one of my favorite ways to sell a property. However, to buy, not so much. Because why? You're going to be paying top dollar for that purchase. So how do they go about it? Well, if you want me to go into more detail on how to do a rent-to-own or a lease purchase, leave a comment below and let me know if you want me to put a video like that. And while you're at it, hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel. I thank you for that. Now, the fourth way I like to purchase properties is through tax sales. Now you must be asking, what is that? Well, to break it down in simple terms, it's pretty much the county or the borough in some areas or some states, they have boroughs, will foreclose on a property for back taxes and then they will put it up for auction. Now I can go into more detail about tax liens and tax deeds in another video, but for the most part, it's pretty much a person falls behind on their property taxes, sometimes a year, 2, 3 years, depending on what state and what is their laws. But because they didn't pay their taxes, the county or that borough will usually notify them that a tax foreclosure is inevitable unless they pay the taxes. Now this can get a little confusing because someone like me will come in and offer the tax assessor whatever amount that is owed on that property will have so many days, months, years to pay me back. Now, they don't know that I purchased that property or I purchased that lien on their property, but for the most part, they do know that they owe the money and it's growing in interest. Now, I can go into more detail about this on a future video. As a matter of fact, let me know in the comments below if you're interested on me doing a video about tax liens and tax deeds and on how you can actually make anywhere from 12% to 50% on your money or even acquire properties for pennies on the dollar. Also, don't forget now, if you are enjoying this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. So now, to get back into how I purchased this property for $1,371.65. Well, I purchased it through a tax deed. Now, normally I get these properties through an auction, but for this one, I got it over the counter. That's another term that we like to use, and I can explain that on that next video. But it's pretty much, I get a list of properties that they want to get rid of or the county wants to sell, and I go through that list, I do my proper research. Now remember, now I'm oversimplifying this. There's a lot of steps that go into this, but it's well worth it because you can acquire properties, $100,000 property for $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. Now the property that I got for $1,371.65 was only worth around, I would like to say about 30 something thousand at that time. However, there is a property across the street from this property that I purchased, and they're asking for about $70,000 right now. The property value has gone up since I bought it, but yes, you can acquire property for that cheap. Now, how this over-the-counter tax deed stuff works is pretty much, there is a list that the county or that borough releases, and you go through that list and you pick a property. You do your research on those properties, and then you send a letter out to the county that you notify the county that you're interested in purchasing that real estate, and then you notify the county that you're interested in purchasing that tax deed. Now, normally what they do next is they send you a letter saying this is how much you owe, how much they owe in taxes, and you have to pay them in certified funds. So for this one, it was $1,371.65, as I will show you on this paper. I blacked out certain parts for confidentiality, but pretty much you can see over here the cost of what I purchased it for. Now, some people might think that that is messed up because you are taking somebody's property. Well, nobody complains when the bank forecloses on a property. So what is the difference between a tax foreclosure and a bank foreclosure? So when you miss a few months of mortgage payments, guess what? The bank will start foreclosure process. Sometimes it takes a year, sometimes it takes a few months, but they will take that property away unless you pay for the full amount of that mortgage. Whereas to the tax foreclosure side or the tax deed side, what they do is they send you a letter notifying you that you're behind on your taxes. Now, with this particular property that I acquired, this is actually a perfect starter home for someone that wants to get into real estate or want to own their first property. When I acquired this property, rent was going for about $625 to $725. That was the range. Now, would this be a good property for you to have in your rental portfolio? Just imagine if you bought 10 of these properties, even if it only produced you $200 clean after all expenses, that is still $2,000 a month. You can scale up very quickly in a very short time. Now, you don't have to give up your job. You can continue working and set aside a few $100s here and there until you have enough to purchase another tax deed. Now, it's not always guaranteed that you will get a property for $1,400. However, I've seen people purchase properties for as little as $20 and to as high as a few $100,000. You can get a property for pretty much any price as long as you're willing to pay for it. Now, do I recommend you pay that much for a property? No. As a matter of fact, if you can acquire a property for 10 cents on the dollar, I say go for it. Now that you know how to buy cheap real estate or how to buy properties for pennies on the dollar, what are you going to do? Are you gonna sit on the sidelines or are you gonna start investing in real estate? Let me know in the comments below. Now remember, if you like this video, please hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel and even hit that notification bell so YouTube can notify you when I post my next video. I want to say mahalo for watching this video, and remember to always strive for financial independence. And until next time, aloha!